Hi, my name's Paul, I'm 34, and right now, I'm standing outside my own apartment, heart pounding, holding a key I don't dare use. Inside, everything looks the same, but nothing feels real anymore. You ever wake up and suddenly realize the life you built is balanced on a lie you never noticed before? Yeah, that's me today. Stuck here, wondering if the truth I'm about to face is gonna set me free or just break me completely. All right, deep breath. I think we both could use a moment here. Grab your coffee, settle in, and if you feel what I'm saying, maybe drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And hey, tell me in the comments, honestly, if you were standing here, key in hand, what would you do? I always believed we lived a flawless dream. Sleek penthouse, San Francisco fog rolling gently behind glass walls, my designs transforming the skyline, and Mary illuminating lives with her art gallery downtown. Each morning felt crafted. Fresh espresso, her quiet smile, the scent of lavender from her skin blending with my cologne, a perfect balance, an effortless harmony, or so I convinced myself. Until that Saturday afternoon, I was supposed to be at the site for a final walkthrough but ended up at a small, sunlit cafe near the waterfront. Instinct, as I casually put it, always seemed a plausible justification. I didn't notice the bustling crowd, or even the woman across the table. It was only a coffee. Harmless, I thought. Yet, fate plays its cruel cards precisely when you believe you're untouchable. I sensed Mary before I saw her, some instinct deeper than attraction, sharper than guilt. I turned slowly, my heart hammering like a drum caught in a storm. Her silhouette stood frozen at the entrance, framed by sunlight, her auburn hair a dark flame cascading onto her trembling shoulders. Those ocean blue eyes, usually warm and inviting, were now wide with shock, disbelief etching itself clearly across her face. No words were exchanged, just silence loud enough to drown out every thought. I watched her turn sharply, pushing through the crowd, fleeing from the truth I had kept veiled behind pretty excuses. I scrambled after her, calling her name desperately. Her pace quickened, weaving through the laughter and chatter of tourists, oblivious to the silent tragedy unfolding before them. When I finally caught up outside, wind whipped her hair into frantic patterns as tears traced invisible scars down her cheeks. Why? Her voice was barely audible, quivering beneath her struggle for composure. Explain this, Paul. I stared at her, helpless, searching for words to heal, words that wouldn't deepen wounds already too fresh. Yet truth tumbled out mercilessly. It's instinct, Mary. It meant nothing. Her eyes widened, as if struck physically. She stepped back, shaking her head slowly, disbelief turning rapidly to raw anguish. Instinct? She repeated softly, as if the word itself were poison. I reached for her hand, desperate, knowing it was already lost to me. She pulled away violently, every muscle tensed, ready to run or collapse. I couldn't tell which. I trusted you, with everything I had. Her whisper cut deeper than any scream ever could. People brushed past us, glancing curiously, their brief intrigue melting back into indifference. Life swirled uncaringly onward, while our world crumbled silently beneath our feet. She backed away slowly, eyes hollow, retreating from me emotionally before physically disappearing into the city's endless maze. Standing alone, I felt the cruel weight of realization settle upon me. My arrogance, my rationalizations had been thin veils covering an ugly truth. Later that night, the penthouse was unbearably empty, shadows stretching across white walls mocking me with memories. My phone screen remained dark, silent. No message, no call. Only echoes of Mary's voice lingering in every corner. The view we loved felt alien, hostile, reflecting only my profound loneliness. Staring at my reflection in the darkened window, I knew instinct could never justify breaking the heart of the only woman who had truly seen me, who had loved every flaw, every imperfection. But that knowledge arrived too late, a bitter clarity that offered no comfort. Days turned into weeks, each heavier than the last. Without Mary, Life was just an endless cycle of waking up to silence and falling asleep to echoes. The gallery remained closed, windows dusty, canvases draped like mourners in white sheets. I passed by occasionally, drawn to the place like a ghost haunting memories I couldn't let go. Mary disappeared from social media, her vibrant presence fading to gray. Friends reached out initially, asking about her absence with concern masked as casual curiosity. Gradually, their calls dwindled, and soon there was only silence. One gloomy afternoon, I spotted her from afar in Golden Gate Park. Fog clung low, drifting between towering cypresses and oaks, creating an eerie cocoon around her figure. She wandered slowly, almost aimlessly, wrapped in an oversized gray sweater, hair tangled carelessly beneath a knitted hat. Her usual confident stride was replaced with hesitant steps, shoulders slumped as if carrying an invisible weight. I moved closer, hidden by shadowy branches, feeling both guilty and desperate just to see her face again. When she paused near a secluded bench, she glanced around cautiously, her eyes vacant, drained of the light I'd once cherished. She sat, staring into the distance, lost within her own inner torment. My heart clenched painfully. I longed to rush forward, apologize, promise her the world, anything to fix the damage I had inflicted. Yet instinctively, ironically, I knew it wasn't my place. My presence was toxic, a reminder of betrayal she didn't deserve. On impulse, I checked her abandoned social media feed, seeking comfort or at least some insight into her thoughts. Nothing new appeared except older posts flooded with messages from concerned followers. One comment stuck out painfully clear. The words burned as I read silently, "Mary, we miss you. Wherever you are, I hope you're healing." A cold wind blew, rustling dead leaves around her feet. She shivered and pulled the sweater tighter, as if protecting herself from more than just the weather. Eventually, she stood, continuing her lonely walk down paths now unfamiliar to her soul. Returning home, the penthouse greeted me like a stranger's home. Dark furniture and pristine rooms felt empty, untouched by warmth or emotion. Every corner echoed Mary's laughter, her whispered affection. Even the fragrance of lavender still lingered faintly in her abandoned vanity area. That night, sleep avoided me. I lay awake, tormented by self-loathing, desperate to erase my selfish rationalizations. My phone buzzed briefly, just a notification. It was a reminder of Mary's scheduled exhibition, automatically popping up as a cruel irony. I stared numbly, realizing how effortlessly happiness slipped through careless fingers. Weeks continued dragging, days became indistinguishable, punctuated only by silent meals, aimless drives, and restless insomnia. My colleagues noticed the change, offering polite, meaningless words of comfort or advice. But nothing penetrated the thick wall of isolation I had built. One evening, from the balcony, city lights glittered cruelly indifferent beneath my gaze. I thought of Mary somewhere out there, facing her suffering alone, burdened by my betrayal. Guilt twisted sharply within me, clear and raw, a pain I couldn't justify nor evade. I knew then, clearly, undeniably, the damage was deeper than I'd ever imagined. I had torn away her ability to trust, not only me, but life itself. My shallow excuse had shattered her inner world, plunging her into isolation far colder than mine. Standing alone, high above a city oblivious to our tragedy, I vowed silently to myself, whatever it took, even if it meant stepping aside permanently, I owed Mary peace. Her pain was mine to bear, her solitude a sentence I deserved far more than she did. And yet, despite the clarity, the crushing emptiness around me whispered mockingly that perhaps this loneliness would be my permanent companion, a cruel justice served cold. The invitation to the art exhibition came weeks ago, now just an unwelcome reminder tucked away on my cluttered desk. Yet, as the evening approached, something compelled me to attend. Maybe it was the vague hope of seeing Mary again, or perhaps the twisted need to face the consequences of my actions. Either way, I arrived early, bracing myself for whatever awaited. The venue pulsed with soft jazz, the rhythm mixing gently with murmurs of polite conversation. Walls glowed warmly beneath strategically placed lights, showcasing abstract pieces filled with vibrant strokes of reds and golds. Guests moved gracefully, sipping champagne and feigning sophistication, their smiles glittering like polished stones. Then, as if choreographed by cruel fate, Mary entered. My heart pounded erratically, breath hitching painfully. She appeared transformed, more radiant yet somehow distant. Her deep blue dress shimmered subtly, clinging elegantly to her frame, yet her eyes seemed withdrawn, shielded behind a practiced, calm expression. Instinctively, I moved toward her, navigating through clusters of people. My throat dried painfully as I caught up to her by a large canvas, swirling shades of crimson and shadowy gray depicting chaos and despair. Mary, I murmured, feeling unworthy even to say her name. She turned slowly, recognition followed instantly by guarded neutrality. Paul, she said quietly, voice smooth but chilly. I didn't expect to see you here. I had to, I stumbled, feeling suddenly inadequate. I wanted to talk, maybe not here. Her gaze sharpened slightly. Please, not here. Desperation surged within me, overriding caution. Mary, you're overreacting. I know I hurt you, but surely. Her eyes flashed dangerously. Overreacting? The room around us seemed suddenly too quiet. Conversations faded, replaced by curious whispers. Faces turned discreetly, drawn by the tension thickening visibly between us. Mary, please, I tried again. Stop, she snapped sharply, her voice slicing through the elegance. You betrayed everything we had and call it nothing. Now you dare minimize my pain? My face burned fiercely as eyes bored into us, judgment rippling silently among the crowd. Yet Mary was beyond caring, her fury blazing openly now. You stood before me and dismissed your betrayal as instinct. Do you have any idea what that did to me, Paul? Her voice trembled violently, but strength surged beneath. It destroyed every belief I had, about love, about trust, about us. A woman nearby gasped softly. Someone muttered, "Who is that?" Their curiosity a sharp sting. Mary stepped closer, eyes shimmering dangerously with tears she refused to shed openly. I gave you everything, and you took it all and laughed at it. Now look around, Paul. Here is your audience, your precious public. Tell them about your harmless instincts. Silence gripped the room, oppressive, uncomfortable. All eyes were fixed mercilessly upon me, every whisper amplifying my humiliation. Mary, trembling yet resolute, turned away sharply, striding toward the exit, head held defiantly high despite her trembling shoulders. I stood frozen, feeling stripped bare. The murmurs resumed slowly, carrying condemnation and intrigue. Avoiding faces now turned away awkwardly, I retreated to a quiet corner, heart thrashing helplessly against my chest. A message flashed briefly across my phone screen, ironically timed. Wow, just saw the live feed. Didn't realize this was a drama show. Hope you're okay. A live feed. The words sank painfully, my shame spreading instantly far beyond these walls. My private disgrace was now public fodder, streamed into countless screens and minds. Staring numbly around, I realized that in one brutal, honest confrontation, Mary had laid bare my hypocrisy to the entire city. She had shown them, and me, the reality I'd refused to acknowledge. My carefully constructed reputation was shattered, and I was left standing amidst the shards. Yet strangely, beneath the embarrassment and dread, there stirred a deeper, more authentic feeling. Raw, undeniable admiration. Mary's courage, her passion, even her fury, revealed a strength I'd never truly understood or appreciated. As the crowd gradually returned to idle chatter and polite laughter, I slipped quietly out the door, stepping into the night air heavy with fog. Tonight had been devastating, public humiliation etched deep. But beneath that pain, a powerful truth stirred within me. Mary deserved better than instinctual excuses. She deserved more than empty justifications. And now, for the first time, I felt a genuine resolve to face my own failures honestly and openly, no matter the cost. The days following the confrontation blurred into one prolonged, painful hangover. Each morning, I awoke to the echo of Mary's voice, hauntingly clear, condemning my hollow excuses. Online, the confrontation spread like wildfire. Comments poured in, some cruelly entertained, others genuinely empathetic. One remark lingered bitterly. Maybe he finally realized instincts aren't excuses. I began avoiding the office, desperate to escape the scrutiny. But even friends were uncomfortable around me. Conversations strained, eyes dodging mine, every silence louder than words. One evening, at a small gathering in a friend's chic loft, I hoped for solace, but found judgment instead. Faces I'd known for years stared through me, transparent with disapproval or poorly masked pity. Mark, a longtime friend and colleague, approached hesitantly, swirling amber whiskey in his glass. His voice, usually jovial, now carried weary disappointment. "Paul, honestly, what were you thinking? Mary adored you. She deserved far more than a half-hearted justification." "I messed up," I admitted quietly, gripping my glass tightly. "I thought I could separate love from instinct. I was wrong. Love isn't some abstract thing," he replied sharply, frustration lining his face. "You can't compartmentalize hearts and bodies without consequences. Look around. You're living proof." His words echoed painfully. I felt a suffocating weight press deeper, amplifying my growing sense of emptiness. That night, sleepless, I roamed my penthouse, shadows shifting around me, each room echoing memories now tinged with loss. Mary's favorite chair sat untouched, draped in a blanket she'd left behind, still scented faintly of lavender and regret. Restlessness drove me into the city streets, now alien under harsh neon lights. San Francisco, once vibrant and welcoming, felt distant, coldly indifferent to my turmoil. Aimlessly walking, I passed familiar landmarks, places we'd shared laughter and whispered secrets. Each held its own phantom memories, tormenting me with happier days. Eventually, I found myself standing in front of Mary's closed gallery, windows darkened and posters peeling from neglect. Unopened mail cluttered the doorway, symbolic of the life she'd abandoned because of my betrayal. My reflection stared back at me accusingly, distorted by dirty glass, unrecognizable, hollow-eyed. For the first time, clarity struck deeply and brutally. My so-called instincts had never been harmless. They had ripped apart a life carefully built on trust, turning love into a casualty. My heart twisted sharply with a fresh wave of guilt, understanding fully now the magnitude of my selfishness. Returning home, consumed by bitter introspection, I faced my reflection again. This time deliberately, no illusions. I confronted every excuse, dismantled every convenient lie I'd told myself. It wasn't merely about betrayal, it was about blindness, my inability or unwillingness to truly see Mary, to cherish the depth of her commitment. I realized bitterly that Mary's trust had been a rare, precious gift. I'd foolishly squandered it, trading genuine love for shallow, fleeting validation. The reality of my actions settled coldly, painfully clear. I had destroyed the very foundation of our shared happiness, and no amount of regret could erase that truth. With dawn slowly approaching, I sat alone on the balcony, the city stretching before me, silent witness to my despair. The sky shifted gently from darkness to gray, mirroring the turmoil inside. Exhaustion crept in, yet alongside it came an unfamiliar resolve, to somehow find redemption, not merely to regain Mary, but to genuinely become a better man. The cost might be unbearable, the path uncertain, yet in that moment, clarity brought purpose back into focus. True healing required more than regret. It demanded action, humility, and relentless self-awareness. I knew this wasn't merely about fixing the past, but fully reshaping the future. As the sun finally broke through heavy clouds, illuminating rooftops and streets in gentle gold, hope stirred softly, tentative yet real. Painful as this journey would be, I now understood the necessity of confronting my flaws head-on, determined to rebuild something genuine, starting first within myself. I heard rumors that Mary had left San Francisco, quietly relocating to a sleepy coastal town a few hours south. The news filled me with a complicated mix of relief and sorrow. Relief, because perhaps the tranquil coastline could offer her the peace I had stolen. Sorrow, knowing the vibrant city, her lifelong home, was now tainted by painful memories. Driven by restless curiosity or perhaps guilt, I found myself driving down the coast on an overcast Saturday morning. The Pacific lay endlessly gray, waves whispering calmly against jagged rocks below cliffs thick with wildflowers. Eventually, I arrived in the picturesque town, quaint cottages and galleries lining narrow streets shaded by lush, towering eucalyptus. Wandering aimlessly through the small downtown, I paused outside a modest studio. The sign simply read, Anna's Art Haven. Through large windows, paintings and sculptures hinted at warmth and creative intimacy. Before I could step away, the door opened, and an elderly woman with bright silver hair and wise, perceptive eyes greeted me kindly. "You look lost," she observed softly, smiling gently. "Perhaps you need art more than directions." I hesitated, then stepped inside, comforted by the calm she radiated. Her space was cozy, filled with art supplies, half-finished canvases, and countless stories whispered in vibrant color. "My name is Anna," she offered. "Welcome to my sanctuary." Our conversation flowed naturally, shifting from superficial pleasantries to deeper truths I hadn't intended to share. Anna listened thoughtfully, her gaze compassionate yet probing. Eventually, she mentioned a recent student. A young woman, much like yourself, burdened by past shadows but slowly rediscovering her voice through art. My heart raced. "Mary?" I ventured softly. Anna's eyes flickered knowingly. "Ah, so you're Paul. She speaks of you rarely, but deeply. Your shadow lingers heavily in her work. Is she all right?" My voice trembled with hope and anxiety. Anna regarded me solemnly. "Healing is never linear, Paul. Mary has endured great darkness, but her spirit is resilient. She paints fiercely now, anger, sadness, rebirth. Her journey isn't about forgetting, it's about reclaiming herself." Her words resonated powerfully. I understood clearly for the first time the profound strength Mary possessed, her ability to channel pain into something meaningful, transformative. Shame burned anew, yet alongside it ignited an intense determination. "Can I help?" I asked quietly. "I know I've caused her pain, but if there's anything—" Anna paused, weighing her words carefully. "Perhaps helping yourself first is the truest gift you can offer her." Weeks passed, and under Anna's subtle guidance, I found myself returning often, not directly interacting with Mary, but quietly supporting the community, helping restore galleries, anonymously funding art supplies for struggling local schools. Gradually, a sense of purpose and redemption bloomed within me. One evening, from across the street, I glimpsed Mary outside Anna's studio. She stood confidently, bathed in sunset gold, discussing passionately a large canvas depicting a fierce storm breaking into serene calmness. Even from a distance, I recognized the symbolism clearly. Her struggle, her rebirth vividly rendered in paint. My chest tightened painfully, admiration mixing intensely with longing. She seemed radiant, renewed. Yet I knew better than to approach. My presence was still shadowed by betrayal. This moment, this rebirth, belonged entirely to her. Returning home that night, I reflected deeply, understanding fully that true redemption required patience and humility. Mary's journey toward healing was hers alone. My role now was quiet, supportive from afar, respecting boundaries even as my heart urged closer. Anna's words echoed once more clearly in my mind. "Heal yourself first, Paul. Only then can forgiveness become genuine." As days slipped by, I embraced this wisdom, diving deeper into genuine self-improvement, honesty guiding every action. I learned to accept that reconciliation wasn't guaranteed, yet that didn't diminish its worthiness. Each small act felt purposeful, not merely gestures, but building blocks toward personal rebirth. In the warmth of community, art, and quiet humility, I discovered something vital: the realization that love, even fractured, holds immense power for transformation and redemption. Mary had begun her journey toward healing, bravely reclaiming herself from devastation. Now it was my turn to follow her lead, nurturing my own rebirth, quietly, determinedly, hoping someday it might bridge the painful gap I'd created. Time slowly taught me patience, but each passing day felt like an eternity, watching Mary's healing unfold from afar. Anna's studio became a quiet beacon, a place I frequented discreetly, not daring to cross paths openly with Mary, yet desperately soaking up every fragment of her newfound strength. Through Anna's gentle conversations, I gained glimpses into Mary's struggles and victories. Occasionally, Anna showed me Mary's paintings, vibrant testimonies of pain evolving into empowerment. One canvas haunted me deeply, a fragmented heart, painfully pieced back together with golden threads. The title struck profoundly: Reclaiming Myself. Driven by an impulse stronger than pride, I found subtle ways to become a silent ally. I assisted local businesses anonymously, funding community art events, quietly repairing worn town benches. Each small act felt like laying delicate, invisible bridges toward redemption. The town gradually embraced me, unaware of my hidden motives. Friendly greetings and sincere smiles, once alien, became familiar comforts. Yet each night, loneliness settled heavily, reminding me of the distance that remained between Mary and me. One evening, Anna invited me into her studio, eyes sparkling with mysterious warmth. "Come see something special," she urged softly, guiding me toward an easel covered by a white cloth. She gently revealed a painting, a breathtaking coastal landscape filled with sunlight breaking through storm clouds, waves fiercely crashing yet calming into tranquil foam. The scene embodied resilience and peace, unmistakably Mary's hand. "She calls it invisible bridges," Anna whispered meaningfully. I stared breathlessly, understanding the symbolism immediately. Bridges, invisible yet tangible, healing connections between past wounds and future possibilities. Mary, unknowingly perhaps, had painted our mutual journey toward healing, separate yet intertwined. "She doesn't realize you're part of this painting," Anna continued gently, "but her subconscious is wiser." Days later, while assisting Anna organize art supplies, I heard Mary's unmistakable voice approaching the studio door. Panic surged instantly, pulse racing. Anna calmly nodded toward a back exit. "Breathe, Paul. Bridges require patience." I slipped quietly outside, heart hammering wildly. Leaning against the studio wall, I overheard Mary enter, greeting Anna warmly. Their laughter, comfortable and carefree, resonated painfully. Yet in that moment, clarity replaced self-pity. My presence wasn't yet healing for Mary. Her peace was precious, fragile. Respecting her boundaries, even invisibly, felt like the truest form of love I could offer. Weeks later, I found myself walking near the coast at twilight, the sky painted soft lavender and gold. Down the beach, Mary sat alone, her figure delicate against the expansive horizon. My breath caught, heart urging me forward, yet something deeper held me back. Instead, I simply watched silently, feeling an invisible thread connecting us, a bridge built of remorse, humility, and quiet hope. Her hair danced gently in the wind, and for a moment, she turned slightly toward me, eyes scanning the distance, unaware of my presence. I whispered softly, as though she could hear, "I'm here, Mary," patiently, invisibly building bridges toward you. She rose eventually, leaving delicate footprints in the damp sand. After she vanished, I stepped forward, standing precisely where she'd sat. Warmth still lingered, a ghost of her presence, comfortingly real. I imagined briefly that someday she might share this space willingly, not burdened by pain. Until then, Patience and quiet sincerity were my companions, guiding each invisible action, strengthening each unseen bridge. Love had become more profound than I'd imagined possible. Not just passion or attraction, but patient dedication and quiet respect. Walking back into town, moonlight illuminating my path, I carried within me renewed resolve. Mary had shown strength and grace in rebuilding herself. I owed her nothing less. Tonight, beneath a sky glowing gently with stars, I promised silently, no matter how invisible or challenging the path, my bridges toward redemption would be strong, patient, and unwavering. Someday, perhaps, they'd be strong enough for Mary to cross willingly. Just as fragile progress seemed to illuminate my hidden path, the past arrived in brutal clarity, shattering illusions of quiet redemption. It was an ordinary sunlit afternoon. The town bustled gently, locals enjoying coffees on sidewalks, gulls drifting lazily overhead, life proceeding calmly. I sat at an outdoor cafe, quietly reflecting on my next discreet community project, when a sharp voice sliced through the peaceful air like a razor. "Paul, fancy meeting you here?" My stomach knotted instantly. I turned, dread flooding my veins. Laura stood confidently in front of me, her expensive sunglasses concealing calculating eyes. She radiated allure, a dangerous charm that had once distracted me disastrously. "Laura," I acknowledged cautiously, feeling dozens of curious eyes subtly shift toward us. "What are you doing here?" She smiled coldly. "You disappeared, darling, and now I see why. Playing the wounded hero? How charming." "Please, Laura," I murmured sharply, "let's not do this here." "Oh, I think everyone should know exactly who you are," she declared loudly, deliberately catching the attention of passers-by. "They should know the man they've trusted isn't a hero at all, but a selfish manipulator who broke his wife's heart for nothing but instinct." Whispers erupted instantly, curious gazes turning sharply judgmental. I saw familiar faces, people I had silently helped, now clouded with suspicion. "Laura, enough," I hissed desperately. "No," she snapped sharply, her voice projecting clearly. "They deserve honesty. You pretended humility, hiding your betrayal behind anonymous good deeds. But it's just guilt, Paul, isn't it?" My heart sank, shame blazing hotly in my chest as faces turned hostile, once warm eyes now icy with distrust. I glanced helplessly around, desperately seeking an ally, but only condemnation surrounded me. Across the street, near Anna's studio, stood Mary, her expression frozen in quiet devastation. Her gaze met mine briefly, betrayal mirrored once again in her eyes, as though I'd reopened wounds still tender. "Mary!" I called instinctively, panic overriding caution. She shook her head slowly, eyes hollow with renewed pain, before silently turning away, vanishing back into the studio. Laura watched smugly, satisfaction etched plainly across her face. "There," she said coldly, voice lowered enough only for me to hear clearly. "Now you know what real pain feels like." She walked away calmly, leaving me shattered beneath a merciless spotlight, surrounded by murmurs and accusing stares. My carefully constructed redemption, my invisible bridges, now felt utterly meaningless. A cruel reminder flashed painfully across my phone, a friend's message simply stating, "Just saw what happened online. Sorry, man." Of course, someone had recorded the confrontation. My humiliation now public once more, raw footage spreading rapidly through a community I'd tried so desperately to serve silently. Escaping quickly to the shoreline, waves crashed violently against jagged rocks below, mirroring my turbulent emotions. My breath came ragged, heart racing wildly. Every good deed, every quiet sacrifice I'd offered suddenly felt insignificant, insufficient against Laura's brutal revelation. Yet, amid crushing despair, a stubborn determination stirred fiercely. Yes, my past had resurfaced destructively, yet my intentions, my genuine efforts, still held meaning. Laura's cruelty couldn't erase my sincere attempts at redemption. Standing on the cliff's edge, wind whipping harshly around me, I realized redemption was never a comfortable, straight path. It required facing painful truths openly, repeatedly. My mistake wasn't simply my past, but also hiding from it, hoping quiet deeds alone would heal wounds I'd caused. If genuine forgiveness required public accountability, humility laid bare, so be it. Mary's healing mattered more than my pride, more than public opinion. This setback was brutal, undeniably damaging, yet perhaps it offered something invaluable: clarity. True redemption could never hide behind anonymity or convenience. Staring into the fierce, endless ocean, I resolved clearly, defiantly. No more shadows, no more hidden bridges. The next step demanded courage, accountability, and brutal honesty. For Mary's sake, and my own, there was no other choice. The town's annual art festival had arrived, and the square was transformed into a vibrant celebration, awash in strings of golden lights, colorful banners gently waving, and a buzz of excited voices. Yet amidst this beauty, my pulse raced violently, throat dry with anxiety. Tonight, redemption required courage more real than I'd ever known. Stepping onto the temporary stage at the heart of the bustling crowd, my knees shook slightly beneath me. A hush quickly spread, hundreds of eyes locking onto mine. Camera phones rose discreetly, capturing a moment I knew would soon flood every local social media feed. I took a deep breath, gripping the microphone tightly. My name is Paul. Many of you know me now, but likely for all the wrong reasons. My voice wavered, echoing through tense silence. I betrayed someone extraordinary, someone who deserved infinitely better. Her name is Mary. The crowd murmured softly, curiosity rippling quietly, anticipation sharpening every gaze. From the corner of my eye, I noticed Mary standing discreetly in the shadows near Anna, arms crossed protectively, her expression unreadable. I convinced myself it was harmless, just instinct, I continued, voice strengthening with raw honesty. But it wasn't harmless. My excuses were lies, covering selfishness and cowardice. I destroyed trust, shattered her world, and lost someone who truly loved me. My chest tightened painfully, sincerity raw and clear in every word. The crowd stood utterly still, captivated by my naked confession. I hid from my actions, believing good deeds in secret could erase my mistakes. They can't, I declared firmly. True redemption demands openness, humility, and accountability. I'm here tonight publicly, not to gain sympathy, but to admit openly the depth of my failure, to own the hurt I've caused. From the audience, Anna nodded gently, encouragingly. Mary remained motionless, listening intently, eyes glistening under streetlights. I don't expect forgiveness, I said, voice softer yet determined. Mary, if you're hearing this, I want you to know that your pain matters deeply to me, that your courage to rebuild your life inspires me every day. I'm genuinely sorry, not just because I lost you, but because I hurt you. I promise this. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to become someone worthy of your forgiveness, even if I never receive it. I lowered the microphone slightly, breathing shakily, vulnerability laid painfully bare before hundreds. Silence stretched, unbearable, until slowly, tentative applause rose softly from the crowd, cautious but sincere, gradually swelling into genuine warmth. Anna stepped forward, placing a gentle, reassuring hand on Mary's shoulder. Mary met my gaze briefly, 1,000 unspoken words passing silently between us. She offered the smallest, nearly imperceptible nod, acknowledgement, if not forgiveness. It felt monumental. Afterward, the crowd dispersed, murmurs fading into the night. Alone, backstage, my phone vibrated repeatedly. Dozens of messages streaming in. I saw your confession, man. Takes guts. Proud of you. Paul, genuine respect for owning your mistakes publicly. Yet only one message mattered. My heart leaped painfully when Mary's brief text appeared. Paul, I heard everything. Thank you for finally seeing me. Emotion welled sharply, tears I refused to let fall stinging my eyes. Though forgiveness remained uncertain, tonight was an undeniable step toward healing. Hers, mine, and perhaps even ours someday. Leaving the square quietly, I gazed upward. Stars glittered serenely above, distant, yet somehow hopeful. Redemption, I understood clearly now, wasn't simply about seeking forgiveness, it was about genuinely becoming worthy of it. About rebuilding trust not through grand gestures, but through quiet consistency and sincere humility. Tonight marked not an end, but a crucial beginning, a sincere promise to never again hide behind empty rationalizations or silent deeds. Mary's cautious acknowledgement had provided strength to continue forward, to face the world openly, honestly. Walking slowly home, streets bathed in gentle lamplight, I knew clearly, painful as tonight had been, redemption had finally begun, genuinely, publicly, and irrevocably. When Anna approached me to help organize Mary's art exhibition, my heart surged with cautious hope. I eagerly accepted, seeing it as a chance, not just to show sincerity, but to quietly express respect and admiration for Mary's resilience. Anna gently guided me through Mary's vision, intimate yet powerful, a showcase of healing in every careful stroke. Days blurred as I immersed myself fully in preparations. The exhibition space was an old, charming gallery near the sea, weathered wooden beams crossing overhead, sunlight filtering softly through skylights onto whitewashed walls. Every detail became significant. Lighting precisely placed, easels arranged thoughtfully, colors harmonized to amplify Mary's profound emotional journey. Working late one evening, Anna paused, studying me closely. "Paul, you've poured your heart into this." "She deserves this," I replied earnestly, adjusting a canvas delicately. "It's not about forgiveness, it's about honoring her journey." Anna smiled warmly, eyes wise and knowing. "Perhaps that's exactly why forgiveness might find you." Finally, exhibition night arrived, anticipation humming gently through the town. Guests entered slowly, their reactions instantly rewarding, awed whispers, thoughtful reflections. Mary's paintings evoked powerful responses, some visitors tearfully moved, others deeply inspired. Her art expressed clarity and strength, raw yet beautifully hopeful. Mary arrived later, radiant yet visibly nervous, eyes wide with disbelief at the vibrant crowd filling the gallery. I watched discreetly from a corner, heart swelling with quiet pride. Eventually, her gaze settled upon me, cautious yet unmistakably grateful. A moment passed, brief yet infinitely meaningful, before she turned to speak warmly with admirers. As the evening progressed, praise flowed freely around Mary. Observing her from afar, glowing beneath genuine admiration, felt like witnessing a quiet miracle, a transformation from wounded to empowered, uncertain to confident. Toward the evening's end, Anna gently nudged me forward. "Go on, tell her yourself." Hesitantly, pulse racing, I approached Mary as she stood near a vibrant canvas depicting storm-tossed seas giving way to dawn. Her eyes met mine carefully. "Paul," she began softly, voice trembling slightly. "Everything tonight. It's perfect. You captured exactly what I hoped to say." "Your paintings made it easy," I responded sincerely. "You inspired every detail here." She glanced downward briefly, then courageously lifted her gaze again. "You've changed, Paul. I see it now." My throat tightened, emotions thickening instantly. "Mary, I'm truly sorry. For everything. Your strength taught me more than I could have imagined." She nodded slowly, deeply thoughtful. "Anna helped me see clearly, too, that healing isn't erasing pain, it's transforming it." "I understand," I whispered earnestly, heart pounding gently. She stepped closer, sincerity clear and profound. "I can't promise forgiveness yet, Paul, but tonight, you helped me reclaim something important. Trust in myself, in my voice." "That's all I could hope for," I replied softly. She smiled gently, genuine warmth I hadn't seen in months. "It's a beginning." Anna approached quietly, placing a comforting hand on each of us. "Tonight, you've both created something powerful. Don't underestimate what courage and sincerity can build. As guests slowly departed, Mary lingered near the open doors, gazing peacefully toward moonlit waves beyond the gallery. Joining her quietly, I offered cautiously, "Maybe someday we can share a view like this again." She exhaled softly, vulnerability and hope intertwined. "Someday, perhaps." Though uncertain, her words felt genuinely promising. Redemption wasn't instantaneous. It required patience, humility, and genuine growth. Tonight's decisive stroke hadn't just been artistic, it was emotional, a powerful acknowledgement of mutual healing. Walking slowly into the gentle night, Mary and Anna beside me, I realized that redemption wasn't about erasing mistakes. It was embracing honesty, respecting boundaries, and patiently rebuilding connections. Mary had reclaimed her voice. I had reclaimed humility. Perhaps in that mutual rebirth, forgiveness would gradually bloom. Above, stars glittered gently, silently affirming possibilities born from genuine sincerity. Tonight, beneath their tranquil gaze, a delicate bridge had truly formed, hopeful yet sturdy, a decisive stroke toward genuine reconciliation, whatever form it might ultimately take. The fading sun draped soft golden hues across the ocean, painting the sky with gentle brushstrokes of amber and pink. I found myself on the quiet beach, sand cool beneath my feet, waves whispering rhythmically against the shore. The tranquility felt fragile, precious, reflecting everything we'd endured, everything we'd reclaimed. Then, as if guided by destiny itself, Mary appeared quietly at the far edge of the beach, silhouetted gracefully against the soft glow of twilight. My heart quickened instantly. She walked toward me slowly, footsteps leaving delicate prints behind, symbols of her careful journey toward healing. We stood silently, the space between us filled with unspoken emotions. The ocean murmured softly, gentle encouragement blending with our quiet breaths. Finally, she spoke, voice calm yet profoundly sincere. "I thought forgiving you would betray everything I'd suffered," Mary confessed softly, eyes reflecting twilight's gentle warmth. "But forgiveness isn't weakness, it's freedom." Her words resonated deeply, releasing tension I hadn't realized I'd held tightly within. "Mary, forgiveness or not, knowing you've healed means everything to me." She turned toward the horizon, gaze peaceful yet contemplative. "We can't erase what happened, but maybe it shaped something valuable. Clarity, humility, compassion." I nodded quietly, understanding profoundly. Maybe that's what love truly is. Accepting imperfection, transforming pain, striving genuinely for something better. Her eyes glistened softly, sincerity illuminated clearly beneath fading sunlight. "I never thought I'd trust again, but you've shown me sincere change. Trust feels possible again, Paul, not instantly, but genuinely." A quiet breeze whispered gently around us, carrying scents of salt and lavender. "Mary," I whispered earnestly, "this journey changed everything. You helped me see clearly, not just my flaws, but how deeply love requires respect and humility." She stepped closer, hesitation mingling briefly with genuine hope. "Can we truly move forward after everything?" "Not forgetting," I replied sincerely, "but learning, respecting each other profoundly, carefully rebuilding trust every day." She nodded thoughtfully. "We both deserve that, a chance at real happiness, built honestly." As darkness gently descended, stars emerged softly above, silently witnessing this delicate, powerful reconciliation. Mary reached out cautiously, her fingers softly intertwining with mine, a gesture cautious yet profoundly hopeful. "We'll take it slowly," she said gently, respectfully, thoughtfully. My heart swelled, gratitude overwhelming yet quiet. Every step matters. Every moment we'll build carefully, honestly. Together, we walked slowly along the shore, leaving footprints intertwined in sand, the tangible symbolism of a new beginning, imperfect, yet authentically beautiful. Waves continued their endless rhythmic whispers, affirming gently that healing wasn't an ending. It was a continuous, meaningful process. In the silence between us grew quiet understanding. Love, once shattered by careless instinct, now reborn as thoughtful commitment, patient understanding. Our journey had transformed pain into profound clarity, mistakes into meaningful growth. Destiny had not doomed us. It had gifted us awareness, compassion, resilience. The love we'd rediscovered felt genuine, strong precisely because we'd confronted shadows honestly, embraced humility openly. Pausing briefly beneath moonlight's gentle glow, Mary turned toward me, eyes reflecting quiet confidence. Maybe love isn't destiny we simply inherit. Perhaps it's something we earn, build, and choose every day. Then let's choose it, I whispered earnestly, sincerity clear beneath stars quietly affirming our newfound clarity. Every single day. As we continued walking gently into a night softened by hope and sincerity, I understood clearly now that love wasn't merely a destiny. It was a gift we'd rediscovered patiently, thoughtfully. It required humility, honesty, respect. And precisely because we'd faced its destruction bravely, we understood deeply how genuinely precious it truly was. Tonight marked not the conclusion, but the meaningful beginning. Two souls rediscovering love, determined never again to let careless instincts define their shared destiny. Under stars silently affirming renewal, I realized clearly, love's true gift wasn't perfection, but thoughtful perseverance, authentic vulnerability, and patient, sincere growth. In each quiet step, we embraced destiny anew, genuinely thankful, deeply hopeful, profoundly transformed.